On EIV News at 9, a driver killed after their car bursts into flames on the highway. More on that fatal crash ahead.
And we'll have the latest information about the Tuesday morning double shooting in South Boston.
And a Taunton family is speaking out after their son was left unattended on a school bus. The full story coming up. Hello and welcome to EIV News at 9. I'm Ross Ketchke.
And I'm Chloe Tebow. We begin with tonight's top stories. One person was killed in a car accident in Londonderry, New Hampshire on Monday when their vehicle crashed and burst into flames. State police said that the car went off of I-93 South near Exit 5 around 12:30 p.m. Sean Kopp witnessed the aftermath of the crash soon after it occurred. He was carpooling home from work and noticed a vehicle on fire in the woods. Kopp said he tried to assist the driver by smashing the windows of the burning locked car, but the individual was not responding. The Londonderry Fire Department, state police, and the fire marshal's office were called to the crash, but it was too late to save the driver. The victim's name has not yet been released.
A 16-year-old is dead following a double shooting in South Boston Monday night. Police responded to a report of shots fired near the housing project on O'Callahan Way around 11:20. Investigators say they found two teenage boys with gunshot wounds. One victim was taken to Boston Medical Center and later died. The other suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Boston Police Commissioner Bill Evans says the victims were likely targeted. Authorities have questioned several witnesses and are turning to the public for help. If you have any information on the shooting, you're asked to contact Boston Police.
A Taunton family said on Monday that their 3-year-old son was left alone on a school bus for hours. Xavier Eversold was picked up around 8:30 on Monday morning to go to the Triumph Incorporation Head Start program. The bus arrived at the school around 9:15 a.m. and Xavier's parents alleged that his teacher marked him as present, although he never exited the bus. The boy was found strapped in his car seat shortly before noon. The bus was in a parking lot nearly 6 miles away from the school. The boy's parents say that they were informed the bus driver, school monitor, and teacher are now off the job, according to Boston 25 News.
The driver in a deadly 2016 car crash was back in court this week. Brad Kassler is facing vehicular man charges after allegedly crashing his car into a West Newbury pizza shop, killing 2 people. On Monday, Kassler's defense made another plea for no jail time and said the defendant is open to changing his plea if it could reduce his sentence. Kassler originally pled not guilty to the charges, claiming his multiple sclerosis caused the crash. The prosecution says the defendant should have taken more precautions to prevent that crash. Kassler is due back in court tomorrow.
Tufts University has said that former White House spokesman Anthony Scaramucci threatened to sue the school's student newspaper and a student for defamation. A graduate student at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy wrote an op-ed piece saying that Scaramucci should not be allowed onto the Fletcher School's advisory board. He called the politician, quote, an unethical opportunist who sold his soul to work in the White House. Scaramucci demanded a retraction and apology from the paper and the student. Tufts University said that they are disappointed that Scaramucci wants to sue the paper. Scaramucci resigned from the school's board on Tuesday.
Now let's check in with our correspondent Kayla LaRosa for a look at the latest national news. What do you have for us, Kayla?
On Tuesday, CNN said it would be inappropriate to celebrate Christmas with Trump and his invited guests. CNN will not be attending the president's party for a few reasons, the first being the president's controversial attacks on the news outlet. CNN has undoubtedly been the main target of a lot of criticism from the Trump administration, most notably being accused of fake news multiple times since Trump was elected in November of 2016. However, they will be sending a White House reporting team to the event just in case something worth writing about happens. The Christmas party is scheduled for this Friday at 2 p.m. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt is not just looking to demolish the Clean Power Plan and additional Obama-era environmental programs. He also plans to re-engineer the agency culture by returning power to states and away from Washington bureaucrats, USA Today reports. Pruitt believes that Washington bureaucrats and coastal elites have led it astray. He has sued the agency 14 times on behalf of the state of Oklahoma, challenging a variety of regulations and billing himself as a, quote, leading activist against EPA's activist agenda. The success of Scott Pruitt's Back to Basics agenda has not yet been determined. Illinois Representative Luis Gutierrez announced that he will not be seeking re-election this year after 13 terms in the White House, CBS News reports. The 63-year-old representative is a Democratic Party leader who has made efforts to reform the Trump administration's current immigration laws. With tears in his eyes, Gutierrez said, quote, "Life to me is like a novel. There's only a certain number of chapters." He's announced his support for Cook County Commissioner Jesus Chuy Garcia to run for a seat, saying he will give new life to the agenda in Washington. Gutierrez made sure to mention that he would not rule out any future office, but that he does want to spend time with family and on immigration policies during his time away from the position. Gutierrez became particularly emotional when speaking about the efforts to rebuild Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. That's the latest political update. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks, Kayla. President Trump reignited a feud with Senator Elizabeth Warren on Monday when he referred to her as, quote, Pocahontas due to her claims that she is partially Native American. Trump was at the White House honoring Navajo code talkers for their role in history when he made this reference. The jab at Warren was met with concern from some Native American leaders who believe that insensitive references are still made towards tribal nations. Warren responded to the comment, saying it was unfortunate that the president used this, quote, racial slur during the ceremony. A White House spokesperson has said that it was not Trump's intent to use a racial slur.
Drivers in New Hampshire could be facing a price hike on state highway tolls. A new proposal would raise the toll fees up to 50% on highways across the Granite State. The proposal also includes a so-called frequent traveler plan that would offer discounts to drivers who regularly take tolled roads and Easy Pass users. Supporters say the money from the tolls would go towards reconstruction projects in and around New Hampshire. If passed, the toll hike would go into effect in March of 2018.
And a new Massachusetts law is in the works to ensure that disabled parking spots are used only by those who need them rather than those trying to snag ideal parking spaces. This measure calls for tougher fines against those who fraudulently use handicap plates or placards. The first offense will be $500 and each offense after that will be $1,000. License suspensions will also be imposed, and any driver who obstructs the expiration date of a placard will also be fined. Governor Charlie Baker signed the bill into action on Monday.
Investigators are learning more about a shocking assault on an elderly woman. Police say Kayla Brown and Markel Cruz knocked down and robbed 92-year-old Doris Penderville while she was getting her newspaper on November 19th. Both suspects have pled not guilty. Investigators say the two robbed the 92-year-old to get money for heroin. The victim's daughter told reporters she's glad the suspects have been arrested. Cruz and Brown were both arrested on Saturday and are facing charges for assault and robbery of an elderly person.
And coming up, we'll have more information about the Chelmsford Elementary School teacher suddenly on leave.
And we'll have the latest about the most recent investigation by Attorney General Maura Healey.
And when we return, weather correspondent Kayla Martin will have the latest on tomorrow's weather forecast. Stick around.
Emersonians, I'm Peyton Lewis, the host of the EIV-nominated and EIV-losing show, Common Agenda. Last season, we may have had a midlife crisis, but this summer we really found ourselves. After some deep soul-searching and some long nights mourning our defeat, we're back here for another season of the saltiest content and shenanigans on the Emerson channel. This season, we'll dive deep into Emerson's favorite subcultures, film bros, hipsters, and other white boys with brown hair. Turn us on Monday evenings at 8:30 on the Emerson channel.
Guys, I cannot have any more ramen.
Yeah, this food is really disgusting.
These are herbal cough drops.
Well, they're better than nothing.
I have some fruit if you guys want.
Those are Skittles.
Just trying my best.
Well, maybe we can just go to the DH?
What?
Oh my god, that stuff is prison food.
Well, do you have any other ideas?
Well, I'm like starving, so like we have to do something.
Did someone say something? Hi kids, Kitchen Man here. Did you know you can tune into Emerson Channel College Kitchen for great dorm-friendly, budget-friendly recipes?
Okay, but like what if I need to go out to brunch with my girls?
Try Taste of Boston, where we profile great local restaurants in the Boston area.
What if I only want to eat competitive chef's food?
Tune in to Sliced, our brand new competitive cooking show.
I want to watch College Kitchen.
But wait!
We are College Kitchen! Hey!
Welcome back. We're now joined in studio by our weather correspondent, Kayla Martin.
What can we expect this week, Kayla?
Well, we're going to be continuing this nice stretch of sun over the next few days, with Friday being an exception.
Not too much rain in the forecast, which is something we can look forward to. Today was partly cloudy with a high in the mid-50s and a low in the high 20s, with winds at 15 miles per hour and humidity staying right around 60%. Tomorrow is going to be partly cloudy with a 0% chance of rain and a high in the mid-40s and a low in the low 40s. Wind gusts will be about 9 miles per hour and humidity is staying fairly consistent at 63%. Friday bringing us into the weekend, we can expect AM showers with a spike in humidity at 76% and wind gusts at 15 miles per hour. The high for the day will be in the high 40s and the low will be in the mid-30s. Fortunately, Saturday will be mostly sunny with 0% chance of rain and a drop in humidity at 53%. The high will be in the mid-40s and the low will be in the low 30s and wind gusts will be sticking around at 13 miles per hour. By Sunday, it's more of the same. Mostly sunny with high in the mid-40s and low in the 30s with a 0% chance of rain. Although the humidity will be dropping back down to the 50s, wind gusts will stay at 60%. Looks like a fairly sunny forecast for the rest of the week, but those temperatures are still dropping, so make sure to remember those coats before leaving. Have a great rest of your week. Now back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Kayla. A Chelmsford elementary school teacher is on administrative leave after an altercation with her principal. According to police, third grade teacher Jennifer Salmon requested a meeting with principal Patricia Tobin regarding safety issues in her classroom. When Tobin rejected that meeting, Salmon refused to leave the office. Police were called to escort Salmon from the building. According to the school district, Salmon has been placed on administrative leave. The American Federation of Teachers has not yet commented on the incident.
Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey has launched an investigation into Uber and its data breach. The ride-sharing company admitted that someone hacked into their system over a year ago and stole personal information from more than 57 million customers and drivers. Uber kept the breach quiet until last Tuesday when they began notifying drivers whose information was compromised. Healey, as well as New York's Attorney General, have serious concerns about the data breach and have been in touch with Uber for more information.
A New Hampshire judge has denied a doctor's request to regain her medical license. Dr. Ann Konopka surrendered her license in October after complaints were filed that she had extreme difficulty using computers. The state says Konopka's limited technological skills hinder her ability to use the mandatory electronic drug monitoring program. The doctor filed an appeal to regain her practice last week. The judge has not yet responded to that appeal, leaving Konopka unable to see her weekly patients.
Worcester police are still looking for a second suspect involved in a robbery using the app OfferUp. The victim told police that he was still trying to sell his Xbox when the two suspects came up to him, engaged in conversation, and then one suspect snatched the Xbox out of the victim's hand. The police have arrested 24-year-old Yemdi Marte, who maintains his innocence. Worcester police say this is the second robbery that was set up using the app OfferUp. They urge anyone who plans to sell something online to meet in front of a police station for the transaction.
We're now joined by our international correspondent, Brooke Johnson, for a look at what's happening around the world. What can you tell us, Brooke?
The United Kingdom's Prince Harry and U.S. actress Meghan Markle announced on Monday their plans to be married next year. The couple met on a blind date. There is some speculation that the marriage is a tactical move meant to foster better relations between the UK and the US in wake of the UK's exit from the European Union. Harry, Queen Elizabeth's grandson and fifth in line to the British throne, is straying from British royal custom by choosing a previously married American for his wife. But reports from Buckingham Palace emphasize that the royal family is thrilled for the couple, CNN reports. Amidst the engagement buzz, the British government has said that the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar looks like ethnic cleansing. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees have fled the country since August and report instances of mass rape, murder, and arson. More reports and images of atrocities in the area have emerged in recent weeks, as the Myanmar government claims to be targeting terrorists. The UK has called on the Myanmar government to allow access for aid agencies, CNN reports. 300 people are dead following an attack when gunmen in military-style uniforms opened fire on a mosque in Egypt Friday. The gunman killed more than 300 people, the worst event of its kind in Egyptian history. The event is troubling for Egypt, as an attack on a mosque seems to indicate shifting targets for terrorists in the region. President al-Sisi has called for a campaign to counter what he describes as the existential threat of radical jihadism. Egyptians worry that their country has become a greater target for the Islamic State after the organization's defeat in Iraq, Syria, and Libya. CNN reports. That's the latest international update. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks, Brooke. North Attleboro police released several surveillance photos of a suspect wanted in connection to an armed carjacking. The suspect was picked up in a red Grand Cherokee near Bishop Feehan High School, where the stolen vehicle was dumped. The carjacking happened last Monday on Kelly Boulevard. The suspect is said to be a tall Hispanic male with a mustache or goatee. Anyone with information is asked to contact the police.
Boston Public Schools are in trouble with the IRS. A recent audit found the school system was misusing funds from student activity accounts and paying employees under the table. The city declined to share records from that audit. It's unclear exactly how many employees were being illegally paid or how much money from student organizations was misspent. Superintendent Tommy Chang learned about the issue this summer and deactivated all accounts related to the misuse. A spokesperson for the Boston Public School System says the schools have implemented a new financial reporting system to monitor their student accounts, as well as retraining staff on their financial procedures.
A 2-alarm fire blared at an early childhood center in Kingston, Massachusetts Monday afternoon. Initial reports show that the fire started in a basement after a mechanical issue occurred. Fortunately, the center was closed at the time of the fire and no one was injured. An investigation is still underway to determine the exact cause of the flames. The center will most likely be closed for the remainder of the week.
Now let's check in with our business and technology correspondent, Medina Shehi. What can you tell us, Medina?
The Meredith Corporation, which owns Family Circle and All Recipes, are making a sales agreement for Time Inc., the iconic publisher of Time, Sports Illustrated, and People. The deal is for a cash transaction of $3 billion. The New York Times reports that this could ruin Time Inc. forever. At its core, Time Inc. is New York-inspired with fast news about hectic urban life, while Meredith Corporation is a Midwestern publisher with a completely different edge. Bringing in Time Inc. will change Meredith Corporation drastically by giving it a more national scale. AT&T has planned to acquire Time Warner for a long time. However, when they made an $85 billion bid for Time Warner, the U.S. Justice Department sued to block the bid. This shows a different approach towards antitrust issues with the Trump administration compared to the Obama administration, where they are drawing limits on corporate power, the New York Times reports. This merger would create a huge media and telecommunications relationship which would completely shift the media landscape. AT&T has even made plans on changing its organizational structure to comply with this merger, but now everything has been put on a halt. On November 16, Tesla released its newest product, the semi-truck. But along this release, they surprised us with their newest sports car, the Roadster 2. Musk enforced that these battery-powered vehicles are like no other. The semi-truck will go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5 seconds, but with an 8,000-pound load in 20 seconds. Musk promoted it will save money in the long run, even though the price will be $180,000 per truck, Fortune confirms. The Roadster 2 will be the fastest sports vehicle in the market, going from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.9 seconds. It will retail for $200,000 or $250,000, Slate confirms. Production begins in 2019 for the semi-truck and 2020 for the Roadster 2. That's the latest in business and technology. Now back to the anchors.
Wow, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. I'd like to get one of those in my driveway this Christmas.
Yeah, I know. That's hard to imagine, but it would be interesting to see.
Cool. Nice big bow on it. I think that could be
Exactly,
really
the
cool. I think that
8,000
could be a good
pounds.
time. All right, well, a Hanson man is blaming a solar company for some expensive damage to his home. John Pacenti claims that Solar City ensured his roof could hold the weight of solar panels. Now Pacenti is saying they should never have been installed in the first place. Pacenti claims the company knew about a pre-existing sag in his roof, but agreed to install the panels anyway. Solar City has removed the system from his roof and offered to terminate the contract with Pacenti at no cost. However, the homeowner is demanding the company fix the damage done to his home. Pacenti filed a complaint to the Attorney General's office and is hoping to have his roof fixed before winter.
A search for a boat in distress off the Cape was suspended early Tuesday morning after several reports of flares in the air over Cape Cod Bay. The Coast Guard was on the hunt for a possible boat in distress Monday night. Helicopters and fire department boats were also launched near Sandwich to assist in the search. The Coast Guard later confirmed that no people or boaters were found during the search. The cause of the flares has yet to be determined.
Police in Cambridge are fighting back against package theft, a particularly rampant issue around the holidays. The department says it's using decoy boxes with GPS implants to catch criminals trying to swipe mail from doorsteps. Police are instantly notified when the package is taken, and they can track the location of the thief. The post office says holiday shoppers can help secure their mail by leaving special delivery instructions when ordering gifts. They can also protect their packages by having them rerouted to their workplace or left with neighbors.
And tomorrow night marks Boston's annual tree lighting ceremony on the Boston Common. Mayor Marty Walsh and the Honorable Stephen McNeil, Premier of Nova Scotia, will gather with hundreds of Bostonians on the Common to commemorate 100 years of friendship between Boston and Nova Scotia. This is the 46th year Nova Scotia has gifted Boston a Christmas tree as thanks for their help after the Halifax Harbor explosion in 1917. Holiday decorations throughout the Common and Gardens will light up in sequence just before 8 p.m. A pyrotechnic display and appearance by Santa Claus are also on the agenda. With this year's tree standing at 53 feet, it's going to be an event you don't want to miss.
When we return, what Sudbury police are warning against this holiday season.
And how the Stoneham police helped make one family's Thanksgiving extremely special, coming up.
Hi, I'm Aaron Kinigsberg, host of EIV's The Dish. Tune in every Friday for your chance to see what kind of bow tie I pulled out of my closet today.
Welcome back to EIV News at 9. Sudbury police are reminding drivers to be careful when transporting Christmas trees this year after they pulled over a man whose windshield was almost totally blocked on Route 20. Police posted this picture of a van to Facebook as a warning to drivers transporting their Christmas trees. Police did not say whether or not the driver got a ticket, but they did wish everyone a happy holiday season.
And the Stoneham Police Department had a rather unusual Thanksgiving. Officers received a report of a woman in labor around 11 p.m. and ended up delivering her baby boy at home. By the time the officers arrived on the scene, it was too late to take the woman to the hospital for labor. Officer Murphy said he and his shift partner, Officer Collodi, had to figure it out as they went because neither of them have children. Officer Collodi said it was probably one of the best experiences of his career. Both the mother and the baby are doing well.
A Cape Cod museum has a very special hockey stick on display, signed by one of Massachusetts' most famous families. The stick is signed by President John F. Kennedy and his brothers Robert and Edward. According to the Cape Cod Times, a Barnstable resident played a game of hockey against some of the Kennedy family members in 1962. The president did not participate in the game, but offered to sign the goalie stick along with his brothers after the game.
And now to keep you up to date with everything happening in the world of sports, here's Jack Almer.
Well, it took over a month for the Boston Celtics to lose their third game of the 2017-2018 NBA season after starting the year 0-2. Boston then rattled off 16 consecutive victories, including wins against the star-studded Oklahoma City Thunder and defending champion Golden State Warriors. The winning eventually came to an end during a 104-98 loss on the road against Miami Heat, but the Celtics' 16 straight W's helped earn them the NBA's best record and first place in the Eastern Conference. Boston Bruins insider Jimmy Murphy is reporting that the Bruins and Edmonton Oilers have had some preliminary trade talks regarding a move that would bring Oilers forward Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to the Bruins organization. In exchange, the Bees would likely send some young prospects back to Edmonton. This season, Nugent-Hopkins has netted 8 goals and recorded 9 assists through 24 games played. The AFC crown is looking more and more like it could come down to a New England Patriots-Pittsburgh Steelers showdown. However, the question that must first be answered is which team will take the conference's #1 seed, and therefore earn themselves home field advantage in a potential playoff matchup against the other. Both clubs are sitting at 9-2 and will square off against one another in Week 15. Despite that matchup coming 3 weeks in the future, it is one both sides are already anticipating, as it could have serious implications on the playoff standings. That's the latest in sports. Now back to the anchors.
You know, I feel like it's the case almost every year, but it's a pretty great time to be a Boston sports fan right now.
It definitely is. Great season to be supporting
Celtics
all
on
the
top.
sports in Boston.
Oh yeah, Celtics on top of the East. Bruins are doing well despite being a young team. Patriots doing great. Like,
really
what a time.
can't go wrong this season.
And you know, we're spoiled,
Yeah.
but I'm not complaining.
Definitely. And Patriots defensive back Nate Ebner suffered a season-ending injury in last night's Sunday game. Ebner was tackled out of bounds on a play and did not return to the game afterwards. The special teams player is a former Olympian who has been with the Patriots since 2012. Ebner entered Sunday night's game as the Patriots' leading special teams tackler with 8 tackles. The Patriots also announced tight end Martellus Bennett is on injured reserve as of last Monday.
A Framingham diner has risen from the ashes after a 3-alarm fire that destroyed the family business last March. J&M Diner has long been a community favorite, so both residents and the owners are happy to see the doors open once again. Framingham residents lined up outside of the new location on opening day for the grand opening ceremony, eager to eat their favorite meals after 8 long months of rebuilding. The diner says they will always support the Fior family, and they love eating at J&M.
Marblehead native and New York City Marathon winner Shailene Flanagan celebrated her return home this weekend by running in the 4th annual Back the Track 5K in Marblehead. Flanagan helped launch the race, and all the proceeds go towards rebuilding a running track in the town. Flanagan said the people of her hometown are who she digs deep for in training, and she was happy to cheer on the runners and celebrate her win with the people who truly care.
You much of a runner, Chloe?
I do it occasionally.
I did a 5K on Thanksgiving, and I'm like still feeling it here almost a full week later. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Burn off the dinner calories.
Right, but what I think is amazing is Flanagan, who's from here in Massachusetts, finished the New York City Marathon, went and ran a Spartan race a couple days later, and is now running another 5K here in Massachusetts.
A lot of respect for her.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Must be cool. And raised right in here in Massachusetts too, which is always great.
Well, that is all the time we have for tonight. Tune in next week for all the Boston news you need. In the meantime, check us out online at eivnews.com or on Twitter at EIV News. I'm Chloe Tebow.
And I'm Ross Ketchke. Good night.
Welcome back, Emersonians. I'm Peyton Lewis, the host of the EIV-nominated and EIV-losing show, Common Agenda. Last season, we may have had a midlife crisis, but this summer we really found ourselves. After some deep soul-searching and some long nights mourning our defeat, we're back here for another season of the saltiest content and shenanigans on the Emerson channel. This season, we'll dive deep into Emerson's favorite subcultures: film bros, hipsters, and other white boys with brown hair. Turn us on Monday evenings at 8:30 on the Emerson channel.
Guys, I cannot have any more ramen.
Yeah, this food is really